individual challenges they have experienced over their educational career. As I've learned about this particular group of students, I want to take this time to thank them for being amazing leaders to the other students. You truly are an inspiration to all of those around you. I would also like to take a moment to thank those who support the program, and there is quite a few. First, I'd like to thank the school board, Dr. Dale Wexel, President, Miss Victoria Zingler, Vice President, Mr. Kevin Ashton, Miss Kelly Bacallis, Miss Christina Belanger, Mrs. Mary Franklin, Miss Janelle Meter, and Dr. James Webb. In addition, I would like to thank Michelle Caulfield, our superintendent, and Linda Perry, our assistant superintendent for secondary education, for their support and guidance with the program. I would also like to thank and introduce the high school learning staff for their dedication and commitment to the program of the students. Mr. Dave Quackenbush, High School Learning Coordinator in Humanities. Mr. Mike Sanfratello, School Counselor. Miss Elizabeth Cristofaro, English Language and Literature. Mr. Glenn Stevenson, Mathematics. Miss Lauren Frazier, Science. Miss Brittany Lamberis, Physical Education. And I would also like to thank Mr. Jim Rossetti and Miss Erin Merrill for volunteering. I also would like to thank our CPP Public Information Coordinator, Bill Cameron, along with Joe Melanson, Brian Kelly, and Mike Simmons for helping us to set up the capacity to do the live stream today. And now I would like to introduce our guest speaker, who many of you know and love, previous High School Learning Center Principal, Mr. Frank Barber.
I'll take that.
Thank you. Really appreciate being here. I haven't been gone for that long. I was lucky enough to spend 10 years at the High School Learning Center, so this means a lot to me. I know a lot of you very well. Super happy to see some of you guys here, actually all of you. It's exceptional to have the opportunity to be here tonight because I never really got to say goodbye to this group of people, so that it's really cool to be kind of coming full circle to be asked to speak here. I think the graduates will tell you tonight, you know, how much the adults helped them. I'm going to speak a little bit about how, you know, the students helped me and what they taught me with my 10 years at the High School Learning Center. You know, honestly, they changed me personally and professionally. You know, I learned the importance of community and the role that it plays in education. The Alley Art Project, Blowing Glass at CMOG, the 3 M's, which I could never remember at the Rockwell, so I'm not going to pretend to remember them now. Volunteering in the community. For our kids to have those opportunities in the community, it's huge. And honestly, I didn't know how important and how disconnected, you know, our students feel. So that is a huge part. And, you know, at some point, I hope we're able to mirror that at the other schools. I learned that if we truly listen to our kids, you know, they will tell us what they need. Sometimes in a large school, we don't have the opportunity or don't take the opportunity to listen. And the teachers here and the counselor here do a fantastic job. The kids will actually tell them what they need, and they're able to address those needs in a way that, you know, I wish we could mirror at larger schools. I learned that schools can be a safe place for our students. You know, it's a place for them to explore who they are, to feel connected. It can at times feel like a family, sometimes a dysfunctional family maybe a little bit, but it's still family. And they care about each other a great deal, and you'll hear about that in the speeches tonight. I learned that you don't need to be competitive to be successful. Like, I like to be competitive. That's how I kind of operate. At the High School Learning Center, it's not like that. It's, how do we get to this end goal, and we're all heading to the same place. And it's a team effort unlike anything I've ever seen before. So competition isn't always a positive thing. And honestly, they accomplish things as a team that they could have never done as individuals. I learned that if we raise expectations and give students a chance, give them the resources, support, and opportunity, they can astound us. Giving them an opportunity to be on a different campus, to be involved in the community, to give them the love and support that they need, they can often surprise us and go places they never thought they could go. You also taught me that there's not one type of High School Learning Center student. I can't tell you how many times people ask me, like, what kind of student is successful at the High School Learning Center? And I always have the same response, well, I can't pinpoint that, I can't say that. And as I look at this group, you'll see it tonight, they're individuals, and they're totally different. Some are a little extroverted, some are introverted, some were already successful academically, some had huge challenges before they got here. But the bottom line is they get to the same goal, and there they are tonight. And a couple things too, another thing they taught me, I thought my life was pretty challenging growing up. Divorce, my family didn't always have what I thought they needed, whatever. Vacation to me was, we would go camping a mile down the road in Campbell. I lived in Coopers, and that was my vacation. I thought that was a big deal. So I hear these stories and stories that you'll hear tonight. My life was easy compared to a lot of these guys. So, the things I've accomplished and things like, that's all good, but I didn't have some of these challenges. So I admire them so much for everything that they've overcome, for their dedication, their tenacity. I've learned so much from them. On a lighter note, I went on a couple kayaking trips with these guys. I learned not to be overconfident in a kayak. The first time I went, the first corner, the first bend I went on, I spilled and I couldn't get back in the kayak. And luckily, I don't think any of you guys were there, so you might respect me a little bit more than that crew, because that was a little embarrassing. But I had a great time, and getting to know students outside of the traditional classroom is a big part of what makes this school successful. They take time to get to know who the students are, and by the time they get to this point, that's why it's an emotional night, because you feel super connected to these students, and you'll hear that tonight. I also learned that speeches should never be too long, so I am now done. Congratulations to our graduates. I'm so happy to see you guys here tonight. I haven't seen you in a long time. We're so proud of you, and we wish you well.
And now for our graduates. To introduce Nick Copp, Kristen Clemens.
So my son is Nicholas Copp. He's graduating today. Wasn't sure we were going to make it this far, as traditional high school just wasn't for him. A lot of ups, lots of downs. Once him and his guidance counselors, convinced me that this was a better place for him. We tried it, and he's going to be a huge success. So he's going to go on to do crane stuff, and I'm sure tow truck stuff. So congratulations, Nick. You definitely deserve it.
Could you share a house? Okay. Please stand right up here. This is also broadcasting. Stand right up here.
So first, I would like to say thank you all for coming, and thank you all for showing us support. To all the graduates, not just me. I would like to thank everyone who supported me, but mostly my friends and my family. I'm going to start off with my friends, Ethan, Lexi, and Caitlin. And then and then my mom, Blaine, who teaches me stuff, my brother Zach, my Aunt Candy for always supporting me, no matter what. And thank you for all showing us, wow. Thank you for being here and showing us our support once again.
And to introduce Noah Goldwyn, Maria Goldwyn.
Hello, I'm Maria Goldwyn. Can you guys hear this okay? There you go. How about now? That sounds better. So I am Maria Goldwyn. I'm honored to introduce my son Noah Goldwyn to you all tonight. Before I do, I want to take a minute to congratulate each of the graduates. There are so many people that are so proud of you all tonight. And I hope you take a few minutes to kind of quietly reflect on the hard work and dedication it took for you to get here tonight. And I think one of the most important things is to reflect on how proud of yourselves you should be, because you're pretty amazing. So on to Noah. About 4 years ago, you had your bar mitzvah, and at that time, I told you that as a teacher, I always think it's important to continue to learn through life. And I'm so thankful of how much I have learned through you, and I will, I'm sure, continue to learn through you. I have a little excerpt from an essay that I'd like to read really quick. And it says, if you asked me 3 years ago if I was planning to go to college, I would have said no. I'm not a typical learner. I've always struggled with retaining what I was taught, and my grades used to reflect this. I would look at a number on a paper and compare myself to others. I assumed I was not as smart as them, not worth as much as them. This made me resent school. I felt I was put in a situation where I could not succeed, like a lion trapped in a cage. I assumed there was no way out and no way to improve. So I gave up and shut down. I only worked as hard as I needed to get by. So, Noah, you know these words well because you not only wrote them, but you lived them. But these words were able to get you into Alfred University, and not only get you into Alfred University, but get there on an academic scholarship. But honestly, if somebody asked me 3 years ago, what colleges are you looking at for Noah, I probably would have answered the same way you did. I would have said, you know, college isn't for everybody, and I'm not sure that's the direction Noah's going to take, which is fine, because everybody has their own paths to follow. But when I look at your education, it reminds me a lot of your first college class last semester at CCC, which was clay work and the pottery, right? So Noah had the first time to try to work on a potter's wheel last semester, and if you have not done it, it is not as easy as it seems. You need to be centered with your clay first. If you don't center your clay, you're going to have these bumps and lumps along the way. Your walls of your clay vessel could easily be too thick or too thin, and it could collapse on itself and break, and then you just have to pick up all the pieces and start all over again. And I kind of feel like this was grades like 3 and 4 through 10 for you. There was definitely bumps and lumps. You definitely were broken at times and collapsed in on yourself. And it was really hard to see as a parent. But that changed, I think, the day you filled out your application to come here. And the day you walked into that interview in a room full of adults you didn't know. And the day you first stepped in your first class here. The clay did not have control of you anymore. You took control of the clay. And you were centered and strong. And there might be bumps and lumps, but there's nothing you can't handle, you know? Your clay vessel is not done, but your dad and I have loved being a part of the process, and we can't wait to see the beautiful sculpture that's going to be created. I'm so proud of you, sweet boy. I love you. Congratulations.
Alrighty. It's a good thing I didn't use my college essay for my speech. I was thinking about it, and that would have really been a problem. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming. While preparing this speech, I spent a good bit of time attempting to paint a picture in my mind of what the High School Learning Center looks like to me. I came to the conclusion that this school is like a rainy day for a tree. Yes, I know when it rains, you and I may walk a little faster to stay dry, but for a tree, rain is a celebrated occasion. Rain is needed for growth, though the process may take time. During a rainstorm, you won't see a tree's immediate change. Nothing worthwhile happens in a day. The High School Learning Center is my rain. Rain is growth. Growth is natural, and change takes time. Looking back at the past 2 years of my life, I see a huge difference from the person I was to the person I am now. I believe the environment and individuals of the High School Learning Center made me the person standing in front of you today. A person I am proud to be, a compassionate, determined, thoughtful, happy, calm, artistic young man. I find comfort in the fact that I have not scratched the surface of knowledge I will gain in my lifetime, and I look back with a smile at the memories I've made at this beautiful place. My teachers have taught me more than I could ever learn from a textbook, and their passion is incredibly inspirational. My classmates and friends have been there for me time and time again, and my family has had to deal with me for my whole life, and I'm positive that it's been no easy task. Yet they still celebrate my successes and have all been an example of how to live with love and respect. Today is a day I've been anticipating for so long. I'm immensely saddened to be leaving this amazing school, but I am incredibly excited to start a new stage in my life. I'm excited for the new community I will be a part of at Alfred University in the fall, but the community and family I've made at the High School Learning Center will never be forgotten. I'd like to thank everyone for believing in me.
And now to introduce Nolan Lobber, David and Deborah Lobber.
Good evening. We're here to celebrate Nolan's latest success, which is graduation from the High School Learning Center. Nolan has made me proud on several occasions. Today is just yet another one of those occasions. I've had the great pleasure of watching Nolan grow and mature over the past 3 years while attending the High School Learning Center. He has grown academically as well as a person, as well as a young man. 3 years ago, it was not uncommon to hear Nolan say, "I don't get it. Why do I have to go to school?" And he was very sincere about that. Over the past couple of years, I heard him say on multiple occasions that he's excited about school. So he went from had to go to school to excited, which is huge. I never thought I'd see that, but it's here. Nolan has volunteered in the community countless hours. He helps family and friends when needed. He truly wants to make a positive impact in the world today. He has developed into a very caring person, very sincere person. Years ago, just a little bit of embarrassment here for Nolan. Years ago, he was a super fan of Buzz Lightyear. That was his hero. Not to further embarrass him, here's Nolan in his Buzz Lightyear costume, and Buzz Lightyear next to him, right? So I say that because today, more than ever, I can say that Nolan's my hero. I could not be more proud of Nolan than I am today. Nolan, congratulations on your latest achievement. For graduating from high school. I'm very proud of you. Always have been, always will be, and I love you very much.
I'm so happy to be here to share this experience with everyone. Each one of you is so special, and you're already successful, and you're so talented. We come into this world with special gifts we are meant to share with humanity, and it is that spark of inspiration, that gift we hold close to our hearts, in our hearts, that makes us unique as individuals. The challenge before us is believing in ourselves enough and having the courage to follow our hearts into the unknown. Well, you did that when you walked through the doors to the Learning Center. But that is when we find our greatest rewards. I wish you all the kind of success and the happiness that brings you. Thank you, facilitators of the Learning Center, for nurturing the sparks in the hearts of our students, for cultivating the essential guiding principles which become the values by which your students live their lives. Now about Nolan. It was about 2 months into his first trimester here that I picked up Nolan at the end of the day. He hopped into the car and he said, "I love school." My kid said, "I love school." Whew. Nolan had set himself on a new trajectory that day. And although I couldn't begin to realize how great the impact would be, I have proudly watched him transform into the young man you see before us now. Nolan, you are unlimited. You are successful. Go, follow your heart, find your stride, and know that we believe in you. I am overjoyed and proud and honored to present my son, Nolan Lobber.
You want to say a word?
Wow. I thought, all right, you can get going now. Yeah. You know, I thought my speech was all right, but I think they taught me a little bit. Oh my God. So before attending the High School Learning Center, my life was awful. I had just about every mental health issue in the book. I was unmotivated with everything in my life, and I didn't go to school for months at a time. If you had asked anybody 3 years ago, where they thought I'd be in 3 years, I don't think a single one of them would say I'd be graduating high school. Not my family, not my friends, and certainly not me. If you had asked me, I'd probably tell you that I'd be dead by now. It sounds harsh, but that's just the reality of it. Now, after attending the High School Learning Center for 2.5 years, I've overcome almost every single problem in my life. I was able to do this based on the core beliefs of our school, mainly our guiding principles, which are excellence, citizenship, commitment and self-discipline, growth, integrity and ethics, leadership, mutual respect, and shared responsibility. These guiding principles, paired with the caring habits, allowed me to become the person that I am today. This school gave me a small push, and I took that momentum, kept going with it, and I have no plans of slowing down anytime soon. I will forever be grateful for all that this program and everybody in it has done for me and taught me. This program is the reason I'm standing here today, and I can't thank you all enough.
And now to introduce Caitlin Oropolo, Tiana Oropolo.
Hello. We're here today with feelings of incredible pride and gratitude. Pride that our daughter is graduating from high school, and gratitude that Caitlin was given the privilege of completing her high school career at the High School Learning Center. Confident, happy, strong leader, perfect, Great are some of the words that were used to describe Caitlin following her presentation of learning on Monday. Those are some of the many positive attributes that were always inside of Caitlin. She just needed a safe and supportive environment to allow them to flourish. From the moment that we came to campus for the tour, the relief that we both felt was immeasurable. Watching Caitlin blossom into the beautiful, self-confident person that she's become has been such an amazing and rewarding experience. She has goals, and we know that she has the ability to accomplish anything that she sets her mind to. We thank you very much, the Learning Center, from the bottom of our hearts for the support that's been given to Caitlin by the teachers and the many friends that she's made here. We could not be more grateful for the Learning Center, so thank you very much. There's my Caitlin over there.
Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin Oropolo. I wanted to start off by saying, honestly, I didn't think I would be graduating. If you would have asked me 3 years ago if I would be here right now, I would say no way. If it weren't for the High School Learning Center, I would not be here today. So I just want to take a moment and thank the teachers for pushing me to be the very best version of myself possible. And for Mike just being there when I needed to talk. I want to thank my parents for pushing me to go to the High School Learning Center. Without them, I would not be here. I want to thank Nick and Alec for being the best support system that I could possibly have. And I want to give a huge thanks to Milena. I have no clue where I would be without her in my life. I have struggled with many things in life, but I've always had the support of my friends and family, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm going to go a little off script right now because my mom wanted to read my little verse right here. But I wanted to give a special thanks to my mom because she's always been there for me. She's always advocated for me, and I know that I don't always say thank you, but I really do appreciate you. And thank you to my dad for always joking with me and making me feel better. And thank you for Cameron for always being there for me, even when you're late. Always. But overall, I just wanted to thank everybody that's been there for me and just always supported me. So yeah, just thank you.
And now to introduce Katherine Reilly, Kevin Reilly.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here to introduce my beautiful daughter, Katie. I want to first of all thank her for letting me be up here to introduce her, because other than sweatpants, I haven't worn pants in about a year, so this makes me feel part of the public again, so thank you, Katie, for that. I want to thank the High School Learning Center. Mr. Barber, you and I have talked many times. I haven't talked to everybody here, but you know, it's awesome that Katie has grown as she has with the support of all of you. As many of you parents, it was a struggle, but with support, and I look at everybody here, we didn't feel alone. There were people that reached out to us, reached out to our daughter to make her strong. She had gifts, but we all need a village to bring us out. We were all young ones, right? And I had helpers. I was my worst enemy. Probably many of us here were, right? But then we raised children. And you know what? I appreciate everybody that has helped her, but Katie has many very good gifts, and she just needed the help to unleash them. She's a very fiercely independent person, as you all know. She has some very good opinions, and that's the thing I love about her. And I know that she's going to be successful. She's a hard worker. She cares about people, and the caring you people gave her makes me know that she will be successful going forward. So I'd like to introduce my beautiful daughter, Katie. Katie, I love you. Good job.
Okay, hey, so something I want to talk about that writing this speech was really hard for me. I really wanted to mention every single person that had helped me on my journey, and I don't think I could write a list long enough of all those people. And during this, I realized a lot of the time I forgot to think about myself. I forgot to think about myself and thanking myself for deciding to ultimately make a change in my life for the better. A lot of my life, I have never remembered to give myself credit for hard work I have put in. And I think everyone sitting up here should also remember to thank themselves for all the hard work they put in to be here right now. For years, I never thought I'd be graduating high school, and that's why this is such a big moment for me. Even though I just did thank myself first, none of my successes would have been achieved without every single person at the high school learning center. I've learned a lesson from every individual I've crossed paths with during my 2 years here, and I'm very grateful for the knowledge I was able to acquire in such a short amount of time. That's staff and students included. I just feel like everyone I was able to meet here taught me a lesson, good or bad. I don't recognize the person I was 2 years ago. I was unmotivated, depressed, and anxious. I was ultimately ready to quit. I can never express in words how grateful I am for Dave, Mike, Liz, Lauren, Glenn, and Brittany, and everyone else who saw something special in me and were able to help me make the great changes I needed to make me grow as a person. I've learned that I shouldn't be afraid of forming relationships, and going outside of my comfort zone is more than okay. Since day one at the High School Learning Center, they have helped equip me for this day. And although I'm slightly scared and very upset, I know that I'm ready for my next journey. Just another thank you to everyone who's willing to be there for me in my time of need.
And to introduce our last graduate, Lorelei Swordout, Jamie Swordout.
Hello, my name is Jamie Swordout. I'm here to introduce our daughter, Lorelei Swordout. Lorelei's experienced. She's had a lot of hurdles in her high school years, and we were in a smaller school district and brought us to Corning because things didn't work out there. And with those hurdles she had to overcome there, kind of made it hard for her in the bigger school district. But we were very thankful for this program because we didn't think we would make it to this day. And we have, and I want to thank everybody that has supported her and her classmates. And we love you a lot, Lorelei, and we're very proud of you. I want to say thank you to everyone who has helped me through this long journey. I want to thank my mom and dad for always being there for me and supporting me, even though it was definitely not the easiest. We had many bad days as well as good ones, but you guys stuck through my side through it all, and there's no words to explain how much I appreciate you for that. I also want to thank every single one of my teachers. You have all made this possible for me, and you have all pushed me to be the best version of myself that I have never, ever seen before. This school has been so amazing to me and made me turn my life around for the better. I really didn't think that I'd ever make it to this point I'm at today, and I don't know where I would have or what I would have done without every single one of you here for me today. Graduation definitely feels like an end, but it also feels like a start to a new beginning. Thank you for being here to celebrate one of our biggest achievements yet, with many more to come.
And now for the most important part, the presentation of diplomas. Ms. Caulfield, as principal of the High School Learning Center, I am happy to present the February class of 2021. These students have completed the requirements for graduation established by the Board of Regents of the University of State of New York and by the Corning Painted Post Area School District.
Dr. Wexel, I have received a recommendation of the principal that these students should receive their high school diploma. I recommend to you that the Board of Education confer these diplomas.
The great thing about this is I get to say the final word. So on the recommendation of the superintendent, I, as president of the Board of Education, direct that these diplomas be conferred.